Better not. Cory Zamier here, collecting with Cory. We're going at this next collection video from a different angle. My PS2 collection's too big to bring all the way down to the floor or even over to the desk. So we're going to do it at the shelf. Let's go. Alright, we're going to be going through this rather quickly because I've noticed in these collection videos, if I don't have anything to say about a game, you guys kind of get upset that I don't play my games. So, if I have something to say, I'll say it. Otherwise, just read the title. First up, we have two games of the Dot Hack collection. We have Dot Hack Infection. This has the DVD that comes with it. And we also have, what is this? Part 3. I'm missing Part 2. This is Dot Hack Outbreak. Activision Anthology. Arcana Heart. This is the first game in the series. Fighting game with all female characters. Atlas title. Arc the Lad. And the End of Darkness. An action RPG that I've never got into. Same thing with Arc the Lad, Twilight of the Spirits. Armored Core 2. This was one of my first PS2 games. Absolutely love it. The other games in the series I haven't had a chance to try out. Armored Core 2, Another Age. Armored Core 3. And as I've said multiple times, these games, the Armored Core games, for the most part, are brought to you courtesy of Roaming Dan. He felt the need to complete my Armored Core collection a while ago. Armored Core Last Raven. Armored Core Nexus. It's really crazy how many Armored Core games they came out with for the PS2. And the last one I have here, Armored Core Ninebreaker. Next up, Asterisk and Obelisk Kick Buttocks. Atari Anthology. Atelier Iris, Eternal Mana. Very fun RPG. Atelier Iris 3. Grand Phantasm. Haven't had a chance to play it. Backyard Wrestling, There Goes the Neighborhood. Or Backyard Wrestling 2, There Goes the Neighborhood. I actually picked this up in a pickup video you guys haven't seen by the time you're seeing this, I think. Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance. Bard's Tale. Baroque. Let me know if the Wii version is better than this one. I have it on the PS2. Would rather have the better version of the game, I guess. Beyond Good and Evil. Very fun game that I didn't get very far in, to be honest with you. Bloody Roar 3. Bloody Roar 4 is the game that is randomly like $30, or at least it used to be. Got that at a garage sale for maybe $2. Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter. Capcom Classics Volume 1. Tulip. Interesting Natsume game. Dark Cloud, probably the earliest RPG for the system. Dawn of Mana. Sealed. Destroy All Humans. Destroy All Humans 2, games I really want to get a chance to try out. Another one for you, Rob Mitchell, the video game hoarder. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner. Sealed. Very reflective cover. Wish I had the box that came with these. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Saga, Digital Devil Saga. That's part 1. And then we have part 2. Disgaea, Hour of Darkness. Don't know why I have this. Never gonna play it. Ronnie, I'm never gonna play it. Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2. Ephemeral How the fuck do you say this name? I'm usually pretty good with names. This is crazy. Ephemeral Fantasia. Ephemeral Fantasia. Fantasia. Wow. Final Fantasy 12, the Collector's Edition. Flipnik, Ultimate Pinball. Frequency. Half-Life. Gauntlet, Seven Sorrows. Giant Citizens Kabuto, or Giants Citizen Kabuto. Don't really know what that's about. Alright guys, we had to switch camera angles just because holding the camera with one hand and keeping your arm up, pulling games out. Oh, man. It's like I went to the gym, right? You know, it's arm day. Shit. That was not fun. But let's continue. We got Gladius, game from LucasArts. Godzilla, Save the Earth. Just realized how far away I am with the games now. One of my favorite RPGs on the system, Grandia 3, has the best battle system I've ever used in an RPG. Grand Theft Auto, Vice City. To be honest, I used to have the other Grand Theft Auto games for the PS2, but to be honest, Vice City's the best one. Why not just, you know, have it distilled down to the best? Never really played San Andreas when it came out. Grand Theft Auto 3 was revolutionary, but Vice City is where it's at. Grim Grimoire. Ah, this one's unfortunate. This one's technically not complete. Brolanzer Generations. I got this at a Goodwill for very cheap. Has disc 1, but unfortunately was missing disc 2. Been on the lookout every so often on eBay, seeing if anybody has disc 2 listed up fairly cheaply, and I never seem to find it. Got a pair of Guilty Gear games. We have Guilty Gear Asuka, or Asuka, and Guilty Gear X2. Here's a Working Designs game. You can tell by the shiny ass cover. Gun Griffin Blaze. Game I got for very cheap at Long Island Retro Game Expo. Jade Cocoon 2. Katamari Damacy, the original. What is this? Collector's Edition? Special Edition? King of Fighters Maximum Impact. Comes with the game and the bonus disc. La Pucelle Tactics. Legaia 2. Dual Saga. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Makai Kingdom. Mega Man Anniversary Collection. Not really sure why I own this for the PS2 when I have it on the 3DS now that they re-released it, or made another release of it. I wonder if this one, I think this one has 1 through 8, so I guess it has a different amount of games on it, but handheld is where it's at, you know, at least for me. I have the complete trilogy of Midway Arcade Treasures. Always like these games, the way they look on a shelf and the way they look next to each other, just the different colors. Very cool. Very cool to me. We got Mobile Suit Gundam, Journey to Jaburo. A pair of Monster Rancher games, Monster Rancher 3 and Monster Rancher Evo. Game is stuck. This game is sticky. Why? Sticker residue on something. Shit. We got NBA Jam for the PS2. Wonder if this was released around the same time as the PS3 game that I found recently. We got Need for Speed Underground 2. The Nightmare of Druaga. Fushigino Dungeon. Another game with a very shiny cover. This one's from Rockstar though. Oni. Orphan, the scion of sorcery, not legacy. Another very early PS2 RPG. Outlaw Volleyball Remixed. Parappa the Rapper 2. We got Persona 3 with the special edition. Comes with the art of Persona, and I could have sworn maybe just I bought the strategy guide separately back in the day, but this was the version I bought when it first came out, and I could have sworn it also came with a strategy guide, but obviously it's just the art in there. And then we have another sealed Persona 3 FES. That is the second release, the Festival Edition or whatever they called it. Then we have Persona 4, a game that I will never play on the PS2 because it came out with a better version for the Vita. Phantom Brave, a game that seems to be on every system. Pinball Hall of Fame, the Gottlieb Collection. Radiata Stories, a game I heard very good things about when it came out. Never got a chance to play it. A pair of Rayman games. We have Rayman 2 Revolution and Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc. Next up we have Road Trip. Robotech Battlecry, one of my favorite games on the PS2 and one that I think about a lot. Just because I'm a huge fan of Robotech and they couldn't have made this game any better, to be honest with you. This game is absolutely amazing. I highly suggest if you're a fan of robot games, mech games, giant robots, Robotech, Macross, if you're a fan of any of it and you have a PS2, this absolutely needs to be in your collection. Absolutely. Robotech Invasion, you can pass on. Romancing Saga, Square Enix title. RPG Maker 2, got that recently at a thrift store. R-Type Final, shooter that I have never played. Rumble Roses, fan servicey wrestling game, as you can clearly see on the back. Rygar. Brave, nope. Samurai Legend Musashi. Sega Classics Collection. I am fortunate enough to have the trilogy of Shadow Hearts games. Have not gotten around to playing any of these. They have a pretty cool combat system from what I know, and I hope to be able to start the series at least eventually. Shadow of the Colossus, a game that's been in and out of my collection quite a bit over the years. Shining Force Neo. Silent Hill. Normally I would not keep any survival horror games in my collection for the most part because I know I'll never play them. However, I got this one a couple of years ago, I think at this point, and I was testing it out to see if it worked, and it does the weirdest thing. It works, but you need to wait like a ridiculous amount of time for it to work. You need to put it in for like 30 seconds and then it will start working. So I can't really sell it. I don't want anybody else to get it and think like, oh, he sold me a not working game. When I know it works, it just, doesn't quite work like it should. So I'm stuck with it. Silent Line, Armored Core. Always kind of wonder, should this one be with the Armored Core games or what? Like, they just kind of changed up the title a little bit, but I'm a stickler for having my games in alphabetical order. Another Working Designs title, Sylphid, The Lost Planet. Smuggler's Run. This would have been the first game I had on the PS2 if I didn't return it on Christmas Day. Sonic Mega Collection Plus. This was the first game I had. This is what I traded Smuggler's Run for. SSX, great snowboarding game. Star Ocean, Till the End of Time. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Not too sure why I'm holding on to this one. But Star Wars Racer Revenge. Oh, it's complete. I feel like every time I come across this, it was incomplete. I'm surprised I have a complete copy right now. Stella Deus, The Gate of Eternity. Randomly had this one sealed back before I started collecting. I think I bought it thinking I was going to play it because I heard it was a strategy RPG. Never got around to it. And sold it on eBay sealed way back in the day. A couple Street Fighter games. One here that you don't really hear talked about very often. But first we have the Street Fighter Alpha Anthology. And Street Fighter EX 3. Not many people like these games, I'm assuming, because they stopped making them. And almost nobody ever talks about them anymore. But I really enjoyed the EX series for Street Fighter. Probably my favorite series aside from Alpha, to be honest. Have all the available Suikoden games for the PS2. Got Suikoden 3. Played this one a little bit. I don't like that it has 3 characters and that it's so different than Suikoden 1 and 2. Didn't really like that part. Could not get very far into it. I probably put about 2 or 3 hours into it. Playing Hugo's story, I think it was. Suikoden 4. I gave this game a try when it first came out and I could not stand it. It felt like the series had taken like 3 steps back with this series. You're doing a lot with naval combat, building a ship, home base, stuff like that. You're still trying to collect 108 Stars of Destiny, but everything seems so bland in this game. I believe it was supposed to be set in the far past, like years, decades, millennia before the other Suikoden games. Whatever it was, I don't know. And this one I got most recently, Suikoden 5, most recently like 2 or 3 years ago at this point. But one of the more expensive games for the PS2, it's like a $50 game from what I remember. And last but not least, because Suikoden 4 is right there, Suikoden Tactics. Haven't had a chance to try this one. Have both of the Summoner games for the PS2. This one's really rough shape. Summoner 1 and 2. Taito Legends. Have a pair of Tales games for the PS2. I don't remember if these were the only ones they made for it. We got Tales of the Abyss and Tales of Legendia. TMNT, based off the animated movie from, what, a decade ago at this point? Yeah, about a decade ago. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, probably my favorite one in the series. My most played one at the very least. Under the Skin, which you can see I obviously got at a Goodwill at some point this year. Or maybe end of last year at this point. Really weird Capcom game where you possess people. Do you? Oh, you disguise yourself as a human to walk freely around the city and blah blah blah. Except we got Unlimited Saga, Valkyrie Profile 2, Silmeria, Beautiful Joe, Virtua Fighter 4, War of the Monsters. I always thought this cover was really, really cool. Wild Arms 3, probably the best art direction they've had for a Wild Arms game. I really am a big fan of the cel-shaded graphics in this one. We're winding down here, we're in the W's. We got Woody Woodpecker, something I got at the flea market last year, maybe early this year, I don't really remember. World Heroes Anthology. Did anybody else have World Heroes games on the Super Nintendo? That was like my main fighting game back then. Up until the point where I finally got a Street Fighter game and a Mortal Kombat. Worms 3D. I am fortunate enough to have the Xenosaga Trilogy. We got Xenosaga 1, Der Will Zermacht, Xenosaga Episode 2, Jensetz von Gut und Böse, and Xenosaga 3, also Spracht Zeruthusia. That was pretty close. It was pretty close. Can't fault me for not knowing German. I only took it for 2 years. I was asleep most of the time. X-Men Legends 1 and 2. And last but not least, Wolverine's Revenge. X2 Wolverine's Revenge, whatever the title is actually on that game. As far as my most wanted PS2 game would be, aside from like the really expensive ones, which I'm not really aiming for because they're mostly survival horror games like Rule of Rose, Haunting Ground, stuff like that. I'm not really into that. I would really like to finish off the Atelier Iris trilogy. I've always been on the lookout for Atelier Iris 2, and I haven't come across it complete, so hopefully I'll be able to do that soon. But let me know in the comments below what you think about my PS2 collection, what games I should try and play, and what games I should try and pick up for my collection. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, keep it real, Internet. I love you guys.